Good morning, everybody. I'm Jim Gray. Welcome you to the Milken Institute. Everybody is here to see this man, the one and only, the great Kobe Bryant. Kobe, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
How's your first week of retirement?
It's been good. It's been good. I wish I could say I've been relaxing, but I haven't. But it's been fun.
You leave with a 60-point game, and we had a chance to talk right after the game. Very few people can leave like that, but does it cause you to retrace in your brain, perhaps I can still do this, maybe I'm leaving a little bit too early instead of a little bit too soon?
It could, but I consider myself very lucky because I didn't stop playing the game because I didn't feel like I could play at a certain level anymore. I stopped playing because I just didn't want to do it anymore. It's just kind of...
Why? After 20 years, what hit you?
It's just, I think it's just part of evolution. I felt like I wanted to move on to something else, and my passion and my focus started shifting towards what comes next versus being completely obsessed with the game itself. So I had that inner comfort of walking away from the game. Nothing to do with scoring 60 or 50 or whatever the case may be. That was completely irrelevant to me.
If you had a better team the last couple of years?
Wouldn't make a difference. Seriously, wouldn't make a difference.
So
I've had plenty of opportunities.
6, 7, 8, 9, or whatever might
doesn't
have
matter.
come.
Doesn't matter because when I made the announcement, made the decision, I kept tossing and turning with, all right, how do you know? And I kept thinking, well, I want this to be the last year, but we'll see what happens at the end of the season, right? We'll see what happens. If I get on the contending team, we win. But the reality is, you can't make this type of a decision based on outside circumstances, right? This must be a decision that comes from within. Either you want to play or you don't want to play. And the question, once I answered that question, it was very easy.
Let's go back to the beginning. I remember when you came into the league, and I remember you playing in the bowels of the spectrum as a very, very little boy. And then to see you at Lower Merion High School, and then you came into the NBA, was with the Hornets for about 20 seconds and then became a Laker. What was your expectation of yourself and your goal when you came into the league?
God, it's hard to remember back that long. I remember being extremely excited, but also being extremely focused because there was a lot of talk as to whether or not I was making the right decision. And there's a lot of people that were saying I was going to be a failure. And so I remember my concentration being extremely, extremely high and not having even one day to really enjoy it or celebrate it. I was back at the gym and working extremely hard because I felt like there was just so much at stake.
Was it your goal to be the best basketball player on the planet?
Yes, it was, yeah.
Did you achieve that?
Well, it's funny, like as a kid, I was growing up and I said, I want to be the greatest that ever played, right? And then as you get older, you start understanding that there's no real answer to that, right? And I found a lot of comfort once I realized that my goal really is to be the best player I can be. And then what that means helping my teammates be the best players that they can be. And once I figured that out, then my game went to another level.
When did you figure that out, and how did you figure that out? What was the transformation?
Trial and error. It was a process. You keep banging your head into a wall, eventually you're going to try to look for the door and the key, and so that's what I had to do. And it was a lot of research for me. It was a lot of reading. It was a lot of studying. It was a lot of listening and try to really figure out what makes people tick and how do you motivate your teammates. It's one thing to say, do this, do that, but how do you really motivate them to the point where they feel, where they're the ones asking the questions of how to improve themselves? Like, how do you flip the switch, help somebody flip the switch within themselves to want to reach their full potential? And that's really the dance.
So you're banging your head against this wall and this door. Are you saying at that time you were stubborn?
I'm stubborn now. I'm just a little less stubborn. I'm stubborn with a greater sense of perspective. How about that?
When they came to you with questions, how did you know how to motivate and who you could push and who you couldn't? Was that also trial and error?
Yeah, it is, and it was. But for the most part, what I had to become better at was just listening. Just listen, right? The guys they'll tell you how they're feeling. They'll tell you, where their insecurities lie, where their strengths are, and you just have to listen and have to really understand it. And it's hard in professional sports because, like, if you watch a game, you watch teams warm up, right? And you'll see players. Most of the players are really locked in internally, like they're locked into their own situation, their routine, right? And what I started doing is I started stepping back, and instead of working on this shot, that shot before a game, I started watching, what is Powell doing, what is Lamar doing, what's D-Fish doing. You can kind of see, what their temperament is. So it's listening, and it's also observing and taking that all into account.
So what's it like to be you? I mean, very few people, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Joe Montana, Tiger Woods, are at Tom Brady, are at the pinnacle and can walk around with this moniker of the best basketball player on the planet, the best anything on the planet. You don't have a moment really to yourself. It's impossible to have a conversation with you anytime unless we're sitting in your home because there's a crush. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants your time. So I'm just wondering, how do you handle that, and what's it like to walk around as you?
Well, it's there's that aspect to it, but there's also the aspect where you really have an opportunity to make a lot of people happy. They come up to you in the street, shake your hand, they want to talk about being at the 81-point game or the 60-point game, and you get a chance to make a lot of people happy. So it's easy to look at the negative side of those things, but I think the positives vastly outweigh the negatives.
Did you suffer because you were so myopic, the tunnel vision, and wanting to attain your goals?
Suffer.
No friends?
Yeah.
No. These are his words, folks.
Yeah.
Not mine.
A lot of that's tongue in cheek. It's obviously I have friends.
I know you did, but you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
It takes a lot to have a friend. It takes time.
Yeah.
You have to have an investment.
Sure. These are choices. Like I made a conscious choice to go after my passion obsessively. Like, it's a conscious decision. So it's not like, you missed out on that, you missed out on that. Like, no, I made a choice to consciously miss out on those things because I'd much rather be here.
It's more about the sacrifice, I guess, is the question.
But that's my point. It's not a sacrifice to me.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's not a sacrifice. Like, this is my choice. Like, I'd rather do this. Like, if you put a bowl of ice cream in front of the kid and a plate of broccoli, the kid's probably going to eat the ice cream, right? And so to me, the game is the ice cream. To some people on the outside, all this hard work looks like broccoli. It's all perspective.
You had a lot of ice cream in a different way.
A lot of ice cream.
How much do you detest a lack of hard work and despise lazy?
It drives me crazy. I don't understand it. But at the same time, I talk to my kids about hard work and stuff, and I say, honey, you can either be the lion or you can be the gazelle. Nature needs both. Right? So you got to have hardworking people. You have to have lazy people. It's the balance of all things, right? So I'd much rather you be the lion. But if you want to be the gazelle, honey, be the fastest gazelle in the world,
How did your kids take that conversation?
I'll be the lion. That's my girl. All right.
So when you saw that you couldn't motivate others and they were lazy or they didn't put out the same effort that you had in yourself and expected in them, how did you respond?
Well, I go up to Phil's office and Mitch's office, and we have a nice salary cap conversation about how we can move these players and get them out of there, pack them up and move them out.
So you were the general manager?
Well, no, but I was the one that was like, listen, at the end of the day, when the career is said and done, You know, I'd be damned if I lose these championships because I'm playing with a bunch of lazy dudes. This is not happening, right? So either, you know, this train is going this way, one way or the other. You're going to be on it, or you're going to be off it, or you're going to be under it, right? It's just, it is what it is. It is what it is. So if you know, I like to motivate players to be better. I don't want to have to motivate you to get in the gym in the first place. If I have to motivate you to get in the gym in the first place, you're probably playing basketball because it was easy for you or whatever other reason. That's not your true calling. That's not your true passion. Maybe it was something else. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I just want to help you find it someplace else. So I'm really like doing them a favor.
How would you describe yourself as a teammate?
Well, extremely unselfish, as you just saw. Like, I'm helping them out. So, I mean, what more can I do, man?
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Amplify on that, if you would. Would you put your arm around a guy? Was it always tough love? How would you go about it?
You have to balance those things. So, you know, every teammate responds differently, right? Like, you know, Powell responds differently. You have to be able to push Powell, needle Powell a little bit, understand when to put your arm around him and talk to him. And, you know, it's a fine dance. I mean, you can't treat them all equally. And it goes back to listening. You have to be able to listen to the guys and understand who they are as people, what their journey has been to get to this point. And then from that, you can make decisions in the moment of how to respond to certain situations with them.
How did you do that with Shaq?
Well, with Shaq, it was interesting. With Shaq, I had to challenge Shaq all the time. All the time. I mean, we'd be in practice, and, you know, Mark Madsen, who was on the second team, and, you know, Mark would be, you know, Mark's, like, full of energy all the time. And, like, we're coming off of a back-to-back, and Phil Nevis gave us days off, right? We show up to practice, and Mark's just running into Shaq, and just, you know, Shaq's just trying not to get hurt at this point. And, you know, I would just go to Phil and say, Phil, hey, put me on the second team. So he put me on the second team, and now I'm playing with Mark, and all it takes is just one thing. I said, Shaq, you are not the most dominant center of all time. You're not even the best player on the team. Then that's it. Then all of a sudden it's trash talking all day. You know, the physicality of the practice goes to another level. And, you know, poor Mark, I mean, he just like demolished poor Mark after that. But that's how we
But you were being serious, weren't you? I was kidding on the level, but there was a serious vein in this.
Well, you can't talk trash and say things that are just unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll play in, there was a game in Utah during the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Back in the day. And I'm taking the ball out of bounds. It's like the fourth quarter, and the fan yells behind me, goes, Kobe, you're garbage. I turned around and I said, dude, be more creative. Like, we both know that's not true. Like say something that's kind of somewhat realistic, that can, like, needle me a little bit. Like,
so what's the best thing you heard from a fan? That guy in Washington, did he drive you crazy?
No, I was too young for that. Like, I was on the bench. I watched him, drive everybody else crazy. But when 2005, 2006, I would get, you can't win without Shaq. Okay. I had no response, right? So I had to just bide my time until. But I remember that fan. He was in Sacramento. I do. Sat right behind the scorer's table.
With the cowbell?
After 2009, I went back and said, hey, I see you. Yep.
And there's somebody we see here in the front row that I want to acknowledge, I want to thank. He's made it better for all of us. Yep. That's Commissioner David Stern. David, thank you for joining us.
You know, it's, I grew up, when I growing up overseas, the game wasn't as global then as it is now. And so my grandfather used to record all the games, send me all the games. But the thing that, I don't even know if he knows, but the biggest impact that he had on me was the NBA entertainment division. Because all of the videos that they used to put out, the history of the game, the Golden Greats, the back-to-back videos, the Come Fly With Me, the Larry Legends, and all that stuff. And I used to sit at home and just digest these things, man. just digest them. And so, I learned the game so much from those videos. And obviously what he's done for the game now, I mean, it's so international, it's unbelievable. So.
Let's go back to Shaq for a moment. Did it work in terms of motivation, and did you get more out of him, or did it just cause this gulf that became so wide that it was impossible to coexist?
No, we were smart enough to understand what we were doing for each other. Like, we knew that we needed each other to be successful. And the tension that we had with each other created an environment of brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. Like, my teammates felt I wasn't passing the ball to them, I didn't see them, they'd say it. If I felt like Shaq was completely out of shape, I'd say it. And so that trickled down throughout our entire organization, where this brutal honesty for the benefit of, for the goal of winning a championship was what we stood for. So from the outside, you see this tension, you see this friction, but internally, we understand that this is getting us to this place. So it worked just fine.
So then what caused the ultimate fracture?
You can't win without Shaq. Dude, seriously, right? So it's that challenge that created that separation eventually, because, I read a story where Shaq said that, I couldn't win without him. And once I saw that, I was like, okay.
You were done.
Yeah, we'll see, because, I felt like I had a lot more in there. And, I wasn't going to retire without knowing if I could have.
So you satisfied what you wanted to do on your own. Now do you look back and you say, that was good that I did that? Or do you feel somewhat maybe remorseful or melancholy that perhaps if you'd have stayed together, you'd have had even more?
No, I'm happy I have 5 and he has 4. I'm okay with that.
And how are you all today?
Fantastic, because I have 5 and he has 4. So, so we're all good. No, I mean, we see each other. We catch up all the time. He asks me about my kids. I ask him about his. And it's great, man.
Mm-hmm. During that period, though, things were not easy. There was also a gulf and a problem with your coach, Phil Jackson, who I know you have the ultimate respect for, but there was a time that, and I'll just say what you told me, you'd like to choke this guy when he wrote that book.
Oh, no question, no question. But looking back now, the thing that I wish I could have done differently is structure some kind of business arrangement. We're selling all these damn books about me. At least let me get a royalty on it.
Now you can have your own book to tell the truth.
Yeah.
Are you going to do that?
No, I don't do that. I got other stuff to do.
But when he wrote those things, I think a lot of people think that professional athletes don't have feelings. And so when something is written or said about you, that it just rolls right off. And maybe that does with certain writers and certain people, but when it's your coach, it has to sting and hurt. How did you react to that?
Yeah, it did. But by that time, I was really, really good at taking negative things and just refocusing them. Right. So it didn't linger. It didn't. I used those things to help me get up at 4 a.m. and hit the track, and then hit the weights, and then get the shots. Like, I use that as a source of motivation for me. So no matter what's said, be it positive or be it negative, when you have the point of view that no matter what is said, it's going to do nothing but fuel my passion, then you really, there's nothing anybody can say that's really going to take you backwards. You know what I mean? Because you just use it all. So.
I want to amplify on that, and by doing so, let's take a look at the symphony commercial.
Huh.
I've been hating you too long to stop now.
You're retired to be free.
My hate was growing stronger as you became a habit to me. Don't make me stop now. I hate you with all my heart.
That's brilliant. Was that your idea?
The core of it, yes. So once we sat around, I came up with the idea of what hero villain represents. From that center, an idea that originated in Kobe Inc., then it became very easy to parcel those things off to our various partners, Nike and so forth, right? But the idea starts with us at its core of what the hero villain is, and then from that, things can be created.
Explain the hero villain.
Hero villain is a simple philosophy of how do you channel the villain to unleash the hero? How to use darkness to create greatness? That's the premise of it.
So why do you think you were booed, particularly that night in Philadelphia? And we did the interview together at the All-Star game. And you played very well, and you're from Philadelphia, and the boos are pouring down while we're doing this interview and while you're wrapping up the game. And it set me back, and I'm not you.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so what are you thinking while this is going on, and are you wondering why?
No, that's tough. I mean, Philly's booed Santa Claus before. Seriously, like literally. So no, I mean it's.
But you're still young and impressionable at that time, or at least, not the warrior, traveled, hardened guy.
No, but that drive was still there, man. Taking those negative experiences and using them, that was always there, right? So once I had that, once I embraced it, I used it. I used it.
Was there a model you followed, perhaps Ali or somebody who you'd seen have this sort of circumstance?
Not one in particular, but I used to read a lot and watch a lot and, about people who have done phenomenal things or have created great things, and then try to ask, okay, how they did them, and then why, and kind of what was their journey, what's their process, and not so much like the actual executional details of how you create X, Y, and Z, but it's more so the inner journey that they go through. And from that, I was able to learn a lot myself. But I was always, still now, reading a lot and learning a lot.
Like what? What type of books? What type of material?
People. Mm-hmm. The journey that people go through. Like, what is the inner conversation that they have, the inner monologue? How do each of us navigate through our own insecurities, right? Our own moments of doubt, right? And then when you have those doubts, understanding where do those doubts come from in the first place, And I think once you understand that, then really you can create anything you want. It's just a matter of first how to navigate the journey of the self. And once you have that, you can be dropped into any industry whatsoever and you can figure it out.
We see you as a real confident guy. You'll take every last shot. You'll go out and you'll take 50 shots. What doubts do you have about yourself internally?
Doubt is such a strange thing. It's, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. You just put one foot in front of the other, you control what you can't control, and then you see what the outcome is, right? If you win, great. You're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks, but you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway, right? So it's really pointless to sit here and debate or have doubt or this, that, and the other. You train as hard as you can, and you step out there and you let it flow.
How much did the losses bother you?
Well, they bothered me, but then I was able to let them go.
Big losses, championship losses, Pistons, 2004.
Yeah, you let them go. And what I did is I learned from them. Very specific things. Like, against the Pistons, we didn't execute well enough to beat the Detroit Pistons. I don't want to get all basketball techie or whatever, but I can't help myself. So if you watch the series, the Pistons brought pressure full court, right, which forced us to stretch our offense. In order to stretch the triangle offense, you really have to be sharp. Like, you have to understand what the sequences of options are, stone cold, to run it 94 feet. And we weren't ready to do that. If you look at the series, you compare that to Larry Brown in Philadelphia when we played him in 2001, and he tried to apply the same pressure, and we beat the hell out of him because that team was extremely well prepared to execute that. And I point the finger at myself, and I put my teammates in those right positions from day one so that we were ready for that in case that happened.
Are you a perfectionist?
For better or for worse, yeah.
So was your experience a joyous occasion, or did you become, like many people who touch perfection, can never really totally harness it? Nobody can. So were you tortured by the journey?
No, well, I'm realistic. I'm a realistic perfectionist. How about that?
It's pretty good.
I understand and know that perfection can never be attained, but it sure is a hell of a lot of fun trying to get it.
But some of your brethren, in fact, people who you're close to, drives them so crazy that they can't function. Tiger Woods, an unbelievable 15-year run, and dominant like we've never seen. But it was totally joyless. Each step was a struggle. It becomes hard. I mean, so how did you know how to become realistic as a perfectionist?
Well, because I know that perfection isn't a real thing. Like, there's some people in this world who are like just insanely competitive about everything, right? So like, if you come up to me and say, "Hey, let's play ping pong," and let's bet $5 on this ping pong game, and I watch you play and you're better than I am, I'm good. I'm not gonna play. I can't beat you. Why the hell am I gonna do that, right? Michael and I had this conversation recently. He said, "Okay, now that you're retiring, you can come out with me and play golf." I said, "No." He said, "You're gonna have to play golf." Yeah, not with you though. I mean, because I've been playing since college. Like, you want to get me out there and just kill me? Like, no, I'm not a golfer. I'm not gonna play. I'm a realist.
So take us inside what your conversations with Michael would be, because you guys are one and two of a kind.
It's like a big brother. From the second time I played him in 1998, and I asked him a couple questions, and he gave me some very detailed responses, and he said, "Hey, I'm gonna send over my number. If you need anything, just call." And to this day, I call him for anything. He calls me right back, and we'll have very in-depth conversations. And he'll share whatever it is that he's learned over his career, be it leadership or how to chase guys off the screens. I mean, he's been a fantastic mentor.
Leadership's an interesting question. How did you know when to lead and when to be passive?
All right, I'm gonna give a very weird answer to that. Just like stay with me for a second. So my wife and I went on vacation. This was after 2008 finals, where we lost to the Celtics. And we went on vacation in France, and we're walking around. And the thing that was really beautiful to me was how beautiful everything was, how beautiful nature was, the flower, the trees, everything was just gorgeous. And my mind got to thinking, well, I noticed the beauty of these things in their elements, but these things cannot be beautiful without the sun. But yet I'm not sitting here and saying, wow, the sun is so beautiful, right? I'm appreciating their own standalone beauty, right? And by the same token, the sun also knows when to disappear, right? Too much of the sun becomes hazardous, right? And so that helped me understand how to lead my team, right? So when you come back in 2009 and you watch the Lakers play, you're not watching Lamar Odom play and saying, wow, he's great because Kobe's there. Kobe's making him better, right? That's not you know, you have to sit and watch the game and appreciate Lamar Odom in his own right, Powell in his own right. So as a leader in practice, you're there, you're helping them grow. But you also have to know when to go away, right, and let them grow on their own. And so that walk kind of helped change my perspective on how I approach leading.
So you were still learning, and that's 12 years into the journey. This
Still
sunset or the
learning
sun.
now.
Yeah.
Still learning now.
So when you backed off, and people would say, he's not leading.
No, I just thought they were just very stupid people.
Okay. But you read that.
Yeah.
You'd see that.
Yeah.
And obviously, you read and saw a lot more than you ever indicated you read and you saw.
No, no, seriously. I just got, you know, the commentating and the broadcasting a lot of times is just it's like very surface information. It's like things that are very easy to digest. Like, okay, you make your teammates better by passing the ball. All right, you pass it to them and they miss 30 times. I mean, that's, you know, right? The key is not passing the ball. The key is how do you motivate them so that they stay in the gym an hour after practice, shooting shots and making shots, so that when they do get the ball, they're ready to knock it down. I mean, you know, that's making people better. Is how do you get them to want to be the best version of themselves? That's making somebody better, truly better.
So did what we say or what the media wrote piss you off?
No, I found it funny. Seriously, that wasn't like a source of motivation for me. It was always like kind of like the cherry on top, where I can just kind of needle you guys every now and then when you guys were wrong. But it never really motivated me. If I needed it, I'd use it. But it wasn't something that drove me day in and day out.
Explain what it's like to focus and to have that vision, or maybe even a little wider than the vision, of what's necessary to win.
Well, it's, you know, you watch game film and you study what the team does well, what they don't do well, what they like to run, when they like to run it, strengths, weaknesses, yada, yada, yada. And then from that, you devise your plan. And then you go out and you try to execute that plan. And now, after you have that plan, you also have to have a backup, right? Because you have to count on them making adjustments, right? So if they make adjustments, I have to be able to go to Powell and, you know, being prepared, I have to go to Powell and say, okay, they did this like we thought they were going to do, like we talked about it. Now let's go to this, right? So it's nothing more than homework. I don't have to rely on imagination or being creative to be creative. You sit down, you watch, you prepare, and the answers are literally right in front of you. You know, it's just taking the time to sit and watch it.
Was winning the only thing that mattered to you?
It was at the beginning, but after that, after a while there, and particularly after 2008, it became getting the best out of the other guys that I'm playing with. That became my mission. And funny things, once that happened, then we started winning.
So I believe, knowing you, that your greatness is in your future, that it's not in the rearview mirror of what you've done on a basketball court. How are you going to apply everything that made you what you are and got you to this point now in Kobe Inc. and your after basketball life?
Well, I mean, the hardest part for that has been trying to figure out what comes next. You know, it used to terrify me at 20, 21 years old, looking at athletes who've retired and really have nothing to go to. You kind of try to figure it out. Like you retire and you say, okay, I got to figure things out. And I didn't want that. You know, so at the age of 20 and 21, I started really reading a lot and trying to like find what do I love to do. And you know, I was fortunate but unfortunate to have these injuries, you know, with the Achilles, the shoulder, and the knee. I say fortunate because it gave me a lot of time to think. It gave me a lot of time to sit. It gave me a lot of time to say, man, my career could be over right now. And all of this work that you've done, trying to figure out what comes next, you're unprepared for, right? And I didn't want that. So I kept thinking, asking the wrong question, what's the biggest industry I can get into? What industry I can get into that has the biggest upside? Wrong question. And then I started asking, what do you like doing? What do you love to do the most? I love storytelling. I absolutely love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And so that's what I decided to do.
So you want to tell stories now. And you
I wanna tell
started with your
stories.
own story, which was Muse, which was on Showtime, which was a terrific documentary. And if you haven't seen it,
Thank you.
I recommend that you get it on demand or go to showtime.com.
Thank you.
That was your first start. Were you pleased with that effort?
Yeah, I was. You know, it's storytelling gives you such a broad lens. But the opportunities that you have in media and technology, the opportunities that you have to entertain and educate are endless. I mean, literally, story is the seed of everything. It's the seed of everything. None of us would be sitting in this room right now without the power of story, because somewhere along the lines, you either read a story, you either heard a story that inspired you, and that gave you that dream of accomplishing what it is that you've accomplished. So I think story can literally change the world. And I am extremely fascinated by that. And even beyond that, storytelling through sports. What does that look like? You sit there and, I'm sure a lot of us have, many of you have kids at home that play sports. You tuck your kids in the bed, you read them a book. What sports book are you going to read to them that touches fantasy, right? That touches the imagination, that adds mythology to it? There are no stories out there like that. And I'm really, 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 really excited about bringing that to the world.
How are you doing with it?
Oh, great. I mean, I love it.
I mean, you've been doing this plus basketball. It's just not a week-long event now or 2-week-long
Oh,
event.
it's funny, like, the day of the last game, after the game, I got a lot of questions about what this day was like, and I woke up, took the kids to school, went to the office, and sat there and wrote stories, edited stories, till 4:30. 4:30. Went home, changed, went to the game. Woke up the next morning, went back to the office.
Guess it wasn't too much different than what you had been doing other than basketball wasn't involved.
The point is, and I really want athletes to understand this, is that you really have to work hard to figure out what comes next. Like for some of us, like we were born and basketball was here. Like I started playing basketball when I was 2. And for a lot of us, it's really easy, that first phase, but it's really, really hard to find something else that you love just as much or more so, right? And that's really the key. It's not keeping yourself busy. It's like you have to figure out what it is that you really want to do. Like wake up in the morning and say, I'm excited to go do this. What is that? Once you figure that out, everything will be fine.
You think you'll have that same passion?
Well, I have it now. I mean, I can't, I'm really, 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 really fortunate to be able to sit here and say that. Like, I love being here with you fine folks, but I'd rather be at the office writing stories right now, honestly. So much I enjoy this fine company.
Maybe that'll change with this question. How many of you folks out there would like to be in business with Kobe Bryant? Raise your hand.
They're like, I don't know, after hearing some of these leadership stories, man, I don't know if I want to be with
A lot of hands there, Kobe. I'm sure a lot of those people have stories. Maybe you'll tell their stories. I want to go back to a couple of other things here. Best player you ever faced?
We counting Michael Jordan in that, or no?
Sure.
Yeah, it's Michael.
It would be ever, right?
Yeah,
Michael.
Michael, no question.
And now, current day?
Let's see. The hardest player I had to defend was Kevin Durant. He gave me the most problems because of his length and his versatility. He's the one I had trouble guarding the most.
I remember when Julius Erving, and you may have been at that game, did that great dunk under the rim against the Lakers in the finals, and Magic was standing there, and Magic has a very famous quote afterwards. He says, we really didn't know what to do. Ask him, would he do it again or inbound the ball? So I'm wondering who you admire and like watching and became mesmerized with while you were on the court and said, geez, that guy really just did that?
There's a lot of players. I mean, there's a lot of players that have done things during the game where I was just like, damn. It's a nice move. It's a nice move. And I'll tell them, I say, it was a nice move, but I'll be ready for that next time.
But is there
you appreciate it in
is there
the moment.
somebody who causes you to style? Steph Curry? I mean, he seems to have captured the imagination of the country. And
yeah, but they the point is that there's so many great athletes and players. Like Steph Curry does that. Westbrook does that. Kawhi Leonard will do that. Damian Lillard will do that. I mean, there's a lot of players that will just do something that is just so phenomenal, and they make it seem so easy that you have to appreciate it. So it's happened over and over with me over the years.
Do you have an eye for talent?
I mean, I could tell if a player sucks pretty easily.
Let's take it back to when they were children, because you saw Klay Thompson as a child. You saw Steph Curry as a child.
Yeah.
Did you see greatness in their future?
No, it's hard to determine what that is, you know. I did a Nike Skills Academy years ago, and Steph was one of the players there, and he just kind of flew under the radar, you know, because you can see how a player shoots, you can see how he moves, how he passes, but what you can't see is you can't see what's in here. You know, you can't see the inner determination that they have, or their ability to navigate through their own emotions. That you can't see. You have to be around the player. You have to see them go through things, and you have to see how they handle it and how they channel that sort of stuff. So, you know, that part's very hard to read.
So what's this final year been like for you? We've seen the adulation. We've seen the full circle. You've gone from somebody who they cheered for as a real young man coming out of Lower Merion, to being booed, to being hated, to the hero villain, to 5 championships, to now this outpouring, which has been unbelievable. How has it been to receive this?
It's been an amazing feeling to have this year where, you know, I can say thank you to them and vice versa, because they've really pushed me to try to be the best version of myself, and to have all those years where we've had these rivalries and these heated confrontations that all come to this point where we can kind of look at each other and kind of, you know, salute each other. It's been great.
What did you expect? Did you think this would occur?
No. No, I was really surprised. You know, first game after I announced it being in Philadelphia, and the reaction and the ovation that I got there was really unexpected.
I can see a little welling up here in your eyes. Was there somebody or something along the way that touched you?
Let's not go that far.
Perhaps the lights are just bright. Was there something that touched you, however, along the way?
Yeah, the game in Philadelphia really did, because there was like ushers that were there when I was like a baby, you know what I mean? And they remembered me when I was a baby, and you know, my coach was there, a lot of my high school teammates were there, and high school friends were there, so you know, being in that environment was very emotional.
To have been, like the commercial suggested, you hate me, and I accept that, and now to be loved, is that a hard adjustment?
Well, yeah.
I mean, you played the other one pretty well. It worked for you.
Yeah, I'm more comfortable in that, you know, especially when it comes to competition. Yeah, it took a little bit of adjusting. It was a little uncomfortable. I'm not quite sure. Like, do you wave like this? Do you like kind of like, you know, what do you? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure what to do there. You just kind of like, you know. So.
How is your family dealt?
The hate part's easy. You just.
How's your family dealt with having to share their father and their husband with the world?
No, they've been great. You know, they've been around me, you know, doing the training and recovery. Like, they've been a part of the process, you know. And they were really happy. You know, the last game when I scored 60, it was like, whoa, Dad, what was that? You know what I mean? Because they hadn't seen that, you know. And so it felt good to kind of take them down memory lane a little bit and say, you know, your dad used to be really, really good. You know?
Didn't have to go to YouTube tonight?
Yeah, no, you didn't have to go to YouTube tonight. So now you can see it live in person. So it was like, that was awesome.
You know, I remember when John Madden retired, he told me he retired because he wanted to spend more time with his family. And he said he was home for about 3 weeks, and his family decided they didn't want to spend more time with him.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Do you have a plan if this doesn't go right and get out of the house a little bit? You're used to traveling.
Yeah, I can see how that could happen. But no, I you know, like I said, I have a very clear purpose of what to do. I have something to go to. You know, I have something I'm really passionate about. So, you know, and for the last 3 years, I've been injured. So I've been at home most of the time anyway. right? So I know the kids' schedules. Like I know when to pick them up. I know when drop-off is. I know when so-and-so has ballet. I know when so-and-so has this, that, and the other. Like I know those things, and I know what time I need to be there and all this other stuff. So I'm already kind of housebroken already.
You sound like a man who is totally satisfied and totally comfortable with what you've achieved and where you are in life.
I am. I feel fantastic. You know, it'd probably be different if I didn't give it my all every day. You know, and then you have regrets. You have regrets. I think the key is really not to focus on the accomplishments, but more so on the effort that you put in to try to accomplish those things. Because at the end of the day, if you look in the mirror and say, I gave it everything I had, then you can be comfortable, which is why I feel comfortable sitting here today.
Well, you gave us all one more thrill a couple of weeks ago, so if we can cue up the tape, let's take a look at how Kobe Bryant decided to say goodbye to Los Angeles.
Five-time world champion Kobe Bryant. Kobe goes to the dribble. Kobe underneath, reverse slam is good. And one. Up it goes, and down it goes. Kobe. Gets a two. 4 in a row for Bryant. Look at Kobe. Give me the ball. Feeling it. Firing. Got him all. This is like old times now. 3 is for 3. That was a dagger. That's the old Kobe. Kobe baseline over Neto has 32. Unbelievable stuff tonight. Kobe's got the Lakers' last tip. Bryant, 4-3. Bryant on the move with the jumper. He got it! 58 points! And the Lakers lead! He has 6 60-point games in his career.
Had you reviewed that before, or is this the first time you're seeing this?
No, I watched it and I was like nitpicking, like, man, I should have had 80. I'm looking like at the certain balance, the one shot, the 3-pointer I hit at the end of the game, going left. It was like, there's no kids in the room, so you don't do this. But like if you ride on a bicycle when you're a kid,
Yeah.
you ever play this game with your friends where you have to throw a rock and try to hit like the telephone pole? So as you're moving this way, you kind of have to throw it back.
Right.
Right? Because if you throw it directly this way, you're going to miss it, right? So you kind of got to throw it back. And so hitting that shot, I literally thought of being on the BMX bike and trying to hit one of those things. Seriously, because if you look at the shot, I'm sliding left. So I'm off balance because my legs are tired. So I had to pull the follow through back. So I had to shoot it back a little bit for it to have a chance to go in. So inspiration comes from everywhere.
It didn't look good in that game for quite a while. How did you will your team back and you scored those 17 straight points and had a huge fourth quarter, and they got out of your way, if that's the right term, but you were exhausted. How did you do that?
Well, because there's no tomorrow. It's
Literally.
Literally. I mean, it's like, everything that you have, you give. But now, like, I've made the decision to do that. Right? I'm comfortable going past exhaustion. Now it becomes an executional thing. Okay, make sure you're having your balance on your shot, right? Making sure you're reading the defense correctly. Make sure you're taking your time. Like it went back to like the basics of the game, how to handle screen roll, where a double team's coming from, right? All those little things.
It wasn't a championship, but on an individual level, was it possibly as exhilarating?
Yeah, I mean, because this is what the fans came to see. You know, it was like, you know, this was the moment to say goodbye, and you know, I wanted to be able to say bye. And I called my wife before the game, and I said, it feels like everybody wants to be sad. You know, I'm not sad. Like, hopefully we can make this night some type of celebration where I can give them something where they're not thinking about the fact that this is my last game. Like, they're just thinking about, this is a hell of a game to watch, you know? And fortunately, it worked out that way.
And what was the car ride home like that night with Vanessa and your children?
Oh, well, you know, Vanessa's funny. It's about time you played like you used to play. And the kids are like, man, that was awesome. That was awesome. But those free throws there were funny because it was...
You wanted 60. You knew where you were.
It would be so anticlimactic if I missed that free throw. But if you contrast that with the 81-point game and the free throw that I hit there, I remember taking a free throw for the 81-point game and looking and seeing all the fans standing up and watching. And then flip that with this one and standing at the free throw line, all I saw was the back of phones. I had to refrain from smirking because it was just like, damn, I'm old as hell. Like, last time this happened, it was just eyeballs, and now it's like the back of phones, and like, it was crazy. It was like a sea of phones.
When you had the 81, you grew up in Philadelphia. In that arena, you saw that picture every time you went into the Spectrum of Wilt with 100.
Yeah, Hershey, Pennsylvania. That's
Did you think about that when you had your 81?
I thought about it after. And you know, I thought about all the times I was a kid and I dreamed of scoring 100 points. Like, I dream about it and I try to work it out in my brain. Like, this can logically be done, right? Because if you score 20 points the first quarter, now you're on fire. Second quarter, you have 20. Because if you score 21 quarter, you can score 20 another, right? So you score 20 the first, score 20 the second, that's a 40-point night already, right? And so now you're rolling. So at that point, the momentum just feeds upon itself. So now you come out the third quarter, get off to a good start, might have 10 quick points. All of a sudden, there you are, sitting at 50 with a lot of game to go, right? And so that's how I always kind of processed that and worked it out to believe that this is actually possible.
When you look back in that game, do you think you should have had more, just like when you look back on your championships? Do you think more about the games you won and the titles you won, or the couple that got away?
No, I do both. I do a balance of both. You know, I enjoy it, but I also look at things that I could have done differently or done better, because that's how you learn. You know, you have to be able to look at things and not just like the last game was something I could look at the highlights just for pure entertainment, you know, and just make little criticisms, but let it go. What are you gonna do now, right? Well, back then it was like you have to look at those performances and nitpick every little thing to learn from.
Kobe, congratulations. It's been a wonderful career. It's been my honor to have been able to cover you. I did the first interview you ever did. You allowed me to do the last interview in your Laker uniform. It's been a privilege, and thank you for all you've given.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.